Well. It seems that we have another Dogpack video that I haven't checked out yet. I think it's been out for like a week now. I've just been busy. But we're here. And it's called Mr. Beast's Secret CEO. Ooh, scandalous. So let's get straight into it. Before we get started, you know the vibes. The like button, subscribe button, leave a comment down below to feed algorithm quads. If you're new to my channel, hi. I upload daily. I do reactions. I do gameplay. I do literally whatever I feel like. But I upload every day. So I'm the one consistent thing in your life. That's right. Unlike your parents, I'm here for you every day. And also, like your parents, though, I provide no emotional support. So I hope you enjoy.
Was going to focus around one instance of essay. I wanted to put
Jesus
the allegations into one video, part 3, final video until Jimmy responds at least. I sort of overestimated how easy that would be as far as like getting everything approved with victims and lawyers, and like also, you know, traditional media is involved. They've been DMing me, you know, New York Times.
Okay,
Time
so
Magazine,
yeah, again, before we get started, just trigger warning for essay, and we'll keep going.
Also like documentary people, I don't know, you're like, hey, I've worked with Netflix and Hulu and Apple TV and Peacock. Are you interested? And I'm like, I don't know, but you know, I think people should go to those more legitimate sources to get their stories out. So I've been referring people to other people because traditional has, you know, more resources than I do and better legal protections than I do for sure. I
respect that. Yeah.
That bigger project, the original part 3. And I have a lot of other interviews and other allegations that.
All right, I'm going to tee up real quick for those of you guys who have not watched the other previous Dogpack videos and you're like, Alicia, what have I tuned into? What is this young blood waffling about? Well, let me tell you what, sir. Mr. Beast has allegations against him and his company for when it comes to negligence of care for workers and employees, when it comes to mistreatment of illegal lotteries. These are all allegations, of course. Illegal lotteries, fixing events, like match fixing type of thing, things like that, where it's just been like very, crimes against humanity. Yeah, he basically tortured a guy. I'm gonna say allegedly a lot in this because I don't want to get sued. And now we have essay allegations coming out, I believe, in this video. And you know what? Actually, I know we're just starting the video. There's something I do want to talk about very quickly. Because I was kind of quiet about this matter. I'm saying a lot. Hold on. I don't know how I want to put this. I didn't write a statement or anything. I just want to say it flat out. So about a few weeks ago, I had a former friend of mine. I'm going to say former very clearly. I had a former friend of mine who helped implement a new feature on Twitch. And I don't like the feature on Twitch, but people were shitting on them, saying like, oh, like they're a creep, they're a weirdo for implementing this Twitch feature. And I was like, guys, don't call them a creep. That feels a little too far. If you don't like the feature, that's fine, but don't call them a creep. 14 hours later, a 54-page Google Doc came out about them being a creep. And I was like, holy shit. But the problem is that 14 hours prior to that, yes, Evil Toaster. Sorry, I'll say the name clearly. Evil Toaster. I'm not here to protect names. 14 hours later, after I made that statement, but like, hey, don't bully somebody because they made a bad idea, the Google Doc came out. And people thought that I was defending them. And I was like, oh shit, no, that's not what happened. I just thought that people were calling someone, right? I thought, oh shit, that's like really fucked up. I thought that people were calling someone a creep for making a bad idea, right? No, so I deleted the original tweet and I apologized. I was like, hey, I didn't know. And I was like, but I also don't know enough about the situation. Because in reality, and I feel like a lot of you might do this as well, when there's allegations against somebody you've known for years, you want them to make a statement or them to express their side. Not take their side, but you want to understand what happened. So when he DM'd me, they DM'd me, I think it was by he and them actually. When he DM'd me, and he was like, oh, no, it was mutual. Them and I had like a flirtationship sort of thing, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. I was like, then I said directly, so then you have proof. Right? So I was like, okay. So I gave him time. I was like, so I made my statement being like, hey, I don't know the situation. I'm staying out of it. I made a statement defending my friend because I thought people were calling them creep for a bad idea. Did not realize that he was being weird online. Flat out, right? He was being creepy towards multiple women in DMs. And I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to like make excuses for somebody. They seemed fucking weird. Let's be honest. And what was it exactly? So I was like, okay, well, I'll give the chance for him to make a statement or say something and then flesh out my opinion. He just started streaming again. He never acknowledged it. And I was like, what the fuck? You said that you have proof. What? What? So you don't then? You're just a creep. There's no proof. It's been over a week now. No statement, nothing. No screenshots that, like, you know, I was like, hey, where's the proof at? No screenshots, nothing. And I was like, oh, so you were just fucking weird. And I was like, God damn, dude. And like, I'm somebody who strongly believes not to like, you know, give people the opportunity to like stand up and defend themselves when it comes to allegations and things like that. And to hear people out, not to take their side, but to hear out what's going on in the full situation. But if you're one of those people who are just fucking weird online, I'm good without that. I kept up my secondary statement because, again, I just didn't know. And I mean, this video is going to hit a lot more views than anything I could post on Twitter. Let's be honest here. I only have like, 10,000, 12,000 followers on Twitter. It's not going to make a big fucking deal. But I want to mention it in this video in particular because if we're going to talk about like sex pest shit, yeah, man, fucking weird DMs. Not friends with him anymore. Unfollowed him on everything. Don't interact anymore. I'm just, again, time and time again, I've dropped friends who've been weird online. I got no problem with doing that. I'm not here to defend somebody just because they have clout. I really don't give a shit. I will drop anybody who I find is weird, but I also believe in giving my friends the opportunity to clear their name. And that's why I gave it time. I gave it a week to be like, hey, here's your time. Here's your opportunity to clear your name. You said you have proof. Cool. And nothing came out of it. He just started streaming again. And I was like, all right, then. I mean, I guess that speaks for itself, right? So that's basically it. That's my whole thing about it. Again, didn't mean to defend him at the start, man. I just thought people were calling him a creep for a Twitch feature. And then 14 hours later, a Google Doc came out. That's 54 fucking pages. Jesus Christ, I feel bad for the women that he was DMing. There's some cringe shit. Oh, and then another doc came out. So a fun thing about him that I said in my original tweet was like, oh, he helped with autism awareness on the platform. For the person I'm talking about in particular is Evil Toaster. Evil Toaster is the reason why there's an autism tag on Twitch for like your channel. So I was like, oh, he did really good autism awareness for Twitch as a platform, right? In my original tweet, because that's true. He's the one who did that. And then I saw screenshots of him diagnosing someone with autism through an online test. And I have never felt so fucking terrible and awful towards a situation. Do not self-diagnose or use online tests and then proceeded to say to the person, you're more autistic than me. What the fuck? What the fuck? It's so stupid. And I'm like, I'm looking at this from the weird flirting and messages like, I don't know if I can hold myself back around you, to telling someone you're more autistic than me from an online test. I'm like, what the fuck am I reading about someone who I thought was my friend? And it just keeps getting worse. I want to say clearly and flat out right now, not my friend. Not my friend anymore. Just not. Just a weirdo, man. Just a weirdo online. And like, it's just stupid as fuck, man. It's stupid as fuck. Like, I just want to say that clearly because I know my YouTube videos get way more views than me making any post on Twitter. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say something about it because it's fucking gross, man. I don't know. I was going to make a separate video about the whole situation. But also, I just don't want to put the time and effort into someone like him because it just annoys the shit out of me. I was friends with him before I even became a VTuber, back when we were both using our face cams and stuff. And I'm someone who's a very distant person, surprisingly, but I am a very distant person. So I don't interact with my friends a lot. When I talk to my friends, I talk to them once every few months because I'm not good at communicating. It's just, if you're okay with me not being good at communicating, we'll be good friends because I just don't communicate well. And he was somebody who I really appreciated for that, who would reach out to me every few months, talk as if nothing changed, and it made me very comfortable in that sense. But I want to be very clear, he's never done weird flirting shit towards me. So those of you guys who are wondering if he had any sex pest weird shit about me, no, I'm not one of the victims of the situation. I'm just not, right? I had no idea he was on his weird bullshit. I know that I had one person DM me years ago being like, hey, I'm not friends with him anymore. He moves kind of weird. He's weird, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. So like I messaged him about it back then. And he was like, oh, me and a girl kind of had like a relationship and things turned sour. So that's why she's saying like blah, blah, blah. And I like was like, okay, cool. Like that just happens. Like I didn't realize he was doing it with like 10 girls. And that he was like creeping out like so many women that were starting to hit double digits. What the fuck is that? I just thought it was an awkward dude who got out of a long-term relationship and didn't know how to flirt anymore until I saw screenshots and was like, what the fuck were you saying to these people? Anyways, I don't want to ever be, I don't want to ever like take, like, I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm not supportive of people when it comes to what they're going through. I just want to give someone the opportunity to defend themselves, and they didn't take the opportunity. So fuck them. All right. I always tell you guys, I believe in an honest apology. And you know what? I will say sorry for thinking that he was a good representation for the platform when it came to autism, because he was the person who got the autism tag put on. He also helped other streamers who have autism get on the front page of Twitch. And it was like a really nice thing back in the day when it was like 2020, 2021. But now that I see how he treats people, especially when it comes to diagnosing them through the internet and through online testing, it's disgusting. It's not based in reality. It's so fucking stupid. Anyways, I know this is a pretty big tangent off of the course of Mr. Beast, but I want to let you guys know very clearly as a person, I'm fine with dropping any friend if they're a piece of shit. I have no qualms. I don't care how much clout you have to protect you. I don't care how many years I've known you for. I've known him for about 5 years now. Don't give a shit. All right, if you're a piece of shit, I drop you. I'll give you the opportunity. I'll give you 1 week to sort out shit, get screenshots, just show me something. But if you can't do that, then what the fuck am I doing here? That's all. And I want to make sure that I hold true to that. Because there's times where you guys have seen me over the years drop friends who've been weird, who've been uncomfortable around others. Doesn't matter what gender, men, women, dropped people who just weren't good people. And I think this is one of those situations. So anyways, just want to talk about that very quickly. I'll timestamp it in the video in case you want to skip it and get back to Mr. Beast. And yeah, I do want to acknowledge that very quickly. I took my time with this one. But I do want to acknowledge that because I think it's important. I didn't want to put it out in a cringe short Twitter statement that's only going to reach what? Maybe 700 people? And it's like, is that really a fucking statement? If it's only going to reach 700 people? No, it's me sweeping shit under the rug. And I was like, it's better for me to put it in some sort of video. I didn't want it to be a standalone video because I don't want it to be a standalone video because I feel like I wouldn't be paying respect to the people who've been affected because I'm not going to put the effort to grab screenshots of what they said directly. And I'm like, that's just not right. If I were to make a video about it, I would want to grab screenshots and go through their statements. But as somebody who, like me and my moderators, read through the 54 pages, I'm not going through that shit again. All I know is that he's cringe as fuck and I'm not about it. Right? And I don't really feel comfortable reading through it all again, to be honest with you. But that's about it. And yeah, anyways, that kind of wraps it up. And if you're still a fan of him, I don't know, man, if I were you, I'd read the doc and judge it based off that. And also remember, if someone does something wrong and they don't even say sorry, that's fucking weird. If someone does something wrong, they don't even acknowledge it or state their side, that's fucking weird. All right. Simple as that. Anyway, continuing.
On putting together so I have something for when Mr. Beast responds. If his response is bad, then I can sort of point out, hey, he lied here and he deflected and straw man argument or whatever, as well as like dropping new allegations and doing it in an opportune way so that they get the most eyeballs. But yeah, I just wanted to say this is just around sort of one allegation. Also, everything in this video
one allegation? Wait, this video is one allegation?
For educational purposes only. This is matters of public interest. I'll put a full disclaimer on the screen. But yeah, here's the video. Okay, today I'm going to be covering Mr. Beast's secret CEO, James Warren, and his involvement in SA cover-ups, like the one including his best friend, LaCoya Hill, who also happens to be Mr. Beast's secret chief operating officer, or was. And then I want to touch on the man himself, Jimmy Donaldson. Mr. Beast has very publicly and transparently been engaging in a massive cover-up, deleting a lot of evidence, and I think a lot of this cover-up is going sort of completely under the radar. We're not even aware of what's being swept under the rug, and they're getting away with hiding and deleting evidence. After I called out James Warren by name in my last video, his Instagram and Facebook got taken down, and his LinkedIn got taken down. So quick profile on James Warren. He's Jimmy's cousin and secret CEO, and I say secret because, you know, they're not very open about that fact. Like, he doesn't post about it on social media. It wasn't ever attached to his LinkedIn. He's never featured or really referenced anywhere. I heard that he's very aggressive. I've heard him referred to as a psychopath who screams at people and hits his girlfriends. There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him, and I say allegedly.
Does anyone else feel like they got hit with a wave of info dump? Does anyone else feel like they just did a triple take? What the fuck just happened? What the? I just sat here like my I felt like I skipped a whole season. Dude, what the fuck? Okay, so James Warren,
because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who assault their girlfriends, I guess. So I'm still having people look into these cases, specifically that surprise witness on YouTube. She's been super helpful in, like, behind the scenes, just submitting freedom of information requests and just helping me out a lot in general. She's super nice, super smart. She'll be posting a lot of updates on her channel, as she has been about the Mr. Beast situation.
Oh, that's good.
Mr. Beast video caused a military operation.
James Warren, also allegedly an ex-drug addict. I've heard that he offered cocaine and hookers to editors to stay late. And then the really...
You know, like one of those moments where you got to hear out a sentence? You're like... It's like one of those situations where you're like listening and you're like, okay, well, you know, some people, you know, are drug addicts and rehabilitation's important. And he offered cocaine and hookers to his employees. Well, never mind. Never mind. What the fuck? All right, we need you to hit this deadline. Now, little Timmy, get your dick wet and come back, and don't forget to CG this new car. What? What? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
The big thing is that there was some incident between him and a female colleague that resulted in the female colleague leaving the company and receiving 3 years in severance pay. I'm still actively looking into this incident, so if you have information, let me know. But I've heard from multiple credible sources that this is true and this did happen. Also, I should quickly clarify that a lot of this investigation is allegedly. You know, it's sort of the name.
This feels weird because his evidence is just screenshots of text messages. But it's not text messages between him and the victim. It's text messages between him and other people in the company. I don't know anything. I heard that they hooked up, and that's where something went weird about them, but that's it. Do you know anyone who would know more? I heard she got 3 years severance. I do remember hearing that too. I don't know anyone that would know and be willing to talk about it. That circle always kept pretty tight. The fact they keep saying, I don't know at the start of everything, I don't know anything, I don't know anyone, like, it doesn't feel concrete. Not saying that these allegations aren't true. Is there anyone that's like an actual victim statement?
Information, let me know. But I've heard from multiple credible sources that this is true and this did happen. Also, I should quickly clarify that a lot of this investigation is allegedly. You You know, that's sort of the nature of these instances. I have a lot of testimony, corroborating testimony. But the reason I'm publishing this is that hopefully it brings more information to light. Like after, you know, the Jake Weddle interview got posted, which was all mostly testimony, people came out corroborating a story, and then ultimately Jimmy ended up apologizing and offering him $190,000, which to me I think is most likely an admission of guilt. You know, you don't apologize for things that you didn't do. So anyway, I just want to get that out of the way. But what's not allegedly.
Again, the problem with that is that if you read the statement, oh, this is so messy. Because if you read exactly what Jimmy said was, I wanted to reach out to you, say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video, and I apologize. Clearly it had an effect on you. He didn't admit to torturing him when it came to Jake Weddle. He didn't admit to like any of the shit. He just says mental stress, right? As an all-encompassing term. Then offered to pay him out. You know? And it feels, honestly, it feels like when you pay out somebody to get them to shut the fuck up or to let bygones be bygones. It doesn't feel, I don't know, it just feels really dirty. But I'm glad Jake got paid because to be honest with you, getting like this shit's fucked up and you better get money out of it.
You don't apologize for things that you didn't do. So anyway, I just want to get that out of the way. But what's not allegedly is that James Warren is the former COO of acquisitions of a real estate investment firm called Greenstone Ventures LLC, which is one of the businesses listed in this indictment of his former business partner, Joshua Hutchins, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for running a real estate Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi schemes are great up until they just go bust.
So before working at Mr. Beast, James Warren was involved in a literal fraud. In fact, he's actually mentioned in the court transcripts of this case. This is the sentence hearing for Joshua Hutchins. I'm going to highlight.
Sorry, that clip paired with that was so fucking funny. That clip paired with that was fucked.
Testimony from just one of these victims, a retirement age woman named Sylvia. She testifies, I came to know Mr. Hutchins through a very reputable and successful real estate attorney who highly recommended Mr. Hutchins and who eventually left his agency to become the chief operating officer of Mr. Hutchins' investment firm. The chief operating officer of Mr. Hutchins' investment firm. She explains that the reason she trusted Mr. Hutchins was through the strong recommendation and endorsement from that very reputable and successful real estate agent. He represented Mr. Hutchins as highly competent and capable. He presented a successful track record and how Mr. Hutchins had delivered for other investments. On the next page, page 16, she testifies, my trust was and has been severely violated. This is the equivalent of financial. Many of us entrusted Mr. Hutchins, who we've come to know to be fraudulent. Just $1.3+ million.
Hey, is it just me? Y'all felt uncomfortable with that concept? Anyone? What she said in the testimony? Anyone? Am I the only one who found that was weird? That's a... Because like yeah, I don't... Because I already put an essay warning at the start of this video. I'm going to be very clear. I don't think any amount of money could ever, no matter how much money you get scammed out of or ruins you, I would not put that comparison to SA, especially rape. I feel like, and to call it financial rape is to like, I get what they're going for there. It just feels like off-putting. I don't. It's weird. Yeah. Not to like, listen, okay. I'm trying to think of how my brain is figuring this out. I think it's terrible, and to like go through that is like violating your trust and is really disgusting. It just feels weird. Yeah, but we're not talking about old forms of English. We're talking about someone who made a statement just now. Like, this is someone's testimony. This feels weird to. I know they want to make it sound bad, but there's other synonyms for betrayal. Yeah, it just. Yeah, I mean, it does hold a lot of weight to it. The shock value and the weight of the word definitely gets their point across. I mean, I'm somebody who's very sensitive to the topic, though. So I know there's other people who are not going to care as much. But I personally, from a very biased opinion, am sensitive to the topic. So, like, when I see that, it gives me the ick a bit, right? Yeah, it's... I don't know, because we all know somebody who's been affected by rape. That's the reality. Whether it's yourself or someone you know, we've all know somebody who's been affected. So it feels like, you know, when you see that in relation to fucking finances, it feels really like you're using something so derogatory in relation. In old forms of, again, we're not talking about old forms of English, chat. Like, pull it together. We're doing a testimony from current day, right? Like, let's not, well, actually, if we go back this many years, nope, this happened recently. So let's snap to, buddies. And this is a testimony, yeah. Oh. I just seen a decent bit, not even in old stuff. Yeah, I guess for me, again, I'm just very biased, like, right? That's like the point of my whole channel is I'm a subjective viewer. I don't come into these things objectively, right? So I think it's important to understand that about me too, is that even if you're somebody who's like, it's not that big of a fucking deal, that's totally fine. We can differ in opinion. It's just that as somebody who's coming in here extremely subjective and then completely with my own biases in when coming into a situation, I just think it's really uncomfortable to have that.
Dollars of worthless paper signed by him fraudulently misrepresented in the courts. So Hutchins was convicted for soliciting investment monies by telling victims that their money would be put to work on a specific property. In fact, Hutchins did not put all the investor funds to work on the property on which the investor was solicited to invest, and instead regularly used investor funds on other properties or personal expenses.
God damn.
Now, what kind of personal expenses? Well, apparently he bought an AR-15 and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. His wife had a domestic violence order of protection against him. He's accused of...
Listen, I know you want to invest in this house, but I need more guns and bullets. What? What?
Calling his wife a lying rat and sending menacing photos of himself in tactical gear in the woods to her friends and family.
On behalf of rats within our community. By the way, if you don't know, my fandom's called Rats. I'm sorry, you put yourself in tactical gear and sent it to her family? What kind of ominous ass threat? That's fucking weird. That's so weird. I would, restraining order. God damn, that.
Again, according to Sylvia's testimony, James Warren represented Mr. Hutchins as highly competent and capable. She continues on page 17. James Warren, the then realtor who recommended me to Hutchins, also encouraged us to work with Mr. Hutchins on trying to make it work. And we did until it became very evident as to his apparent intent of complete fraud. So James appearing to sort of try to mediate this exchange, saying, hey, give him a chance. Don't pursue him. Don't sue him. Just make it work, right? The real losses due to fraud are evident. Financially, he's devastated my retirement. I can only hope and thank the good Lord that I have a brain to be able to function and try to earn back as much as possible. The impact, over $1.3 million in real losses. These are not, I got a piece of property, it was all fraud. She goes on to describe her financial troubles through the years, supporting her mother who had Alzheimer's disease, how in the crash of 2008 she lost her job and for 2 years was unemployed. In 2014, she had a severe cancer diagnosis, was out of work for over a year. She continues, in spite of all that, I've lived very frugally and tried to make things work. I've made him know of all my history and I told him I could not take the risk. He and James Warren, the then realtor, stated, oh, real estate. She goes on to describe how they presented it as a safe investment.
Yeah. I feel bad for how much you got screwed. I'm like iffy if I want to say hi chat. This is like a really heavy thing to say in a video. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to say it or if I don't want to say it. Like 50-50 right now. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is such a shit situation for someone to go through, especially when you know, like the economic crash of 2008, 2009, and then getting a severe cancer diagnosis, and then like your financials are completely fucked and tied up in this goddamn Ponzi scheme. Like you're getting screwed over so goddamn badly. And my empathy meter is actually low. And I think it's because I'm so hung up on the fact they said financial rape and then they talk about a cancer diagnosis later on. And I'm like, dude, in 2018, after I got raped, that's when I got cancer. And it developed because of like, one, the hormone imbalance. I had scarring of tissue and then the reform of my scar tissue amalgamated, and like that's the reason I had to get surgery originally, from how badly disformed I became. Like it's just so like now my empathy is just fucking shot to zero because I'm like, dude, fuck you. But like I feel bad for their financial situation, but I'm like, fuck you, man. So I'm like, I'm trying to have empathy, but I really don't, you know? So, and then for my situation, my doctors misdiagnosed my cancer for a very long time. And then in 2022, I got properly diagnosed. Well, actually, technically January of 2023, but I got biopsied in end of 2022 because the whole time they thought that my abnormalities was from my rape and my body healing. So they kept thinking that all my bleeding issues and all the issues that I had were because of my body, like from the surgeries I had to get after to like help like configure me back. Right? So like that's why I got misdiagnosed for so long and why it grew to the mass that it did. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. It just feels like shit when someone's like, I got financially raped. Anyway, so I had cancer. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like my empathy's so low. Like I know, I guess, again, super subjective, super biased opinion about that. It's just like, you know, it's just dog shit. I didn't realize until just now, but you gone through. I mean, I just don't really talk about the shit that I go through. I mean, I don't feel like it's necessary to talk about all like hardships and crap. I don't know. Life is life. And you kind of just do what you get dealt the hand you get dealt with. You know? I mean, I made the choice to live and I'm still here and that's kind of what it is, you know? At that point, you just gotta kind of deal with it. And I mean, I sound very nonchalant about it, but like, you know, I'm in therapy and I take medication and I work through what I can. And there's definitely days that like I'm like really fucked up over it. I'm not gonna act like I'm not. There's definitely days where I'm just not okay. And there's days where I am. And it's just that simple. I think that everybody has their own traumas they go through in life. And you could say mine's more severe than others, but in reality, it's all based on like a correlation to your own existence, right? So, for example, you stubbing your toe could feel to somebody else as bad as them cutting off their arm, because it's all about like the relation to what you've felt previously experienced, right? And I think that that's the reason why I'm not like, woe is me, my life is so shit, is because like I understand that everybody goes through something, whether I feel like it's as large as mine or not, like doesn't pay mind to anything. But when you start using terminology like that and throwing it around, I feel a little less sympathy. Do you know why? Because I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. I'm like, everybody goes through their shit and I feel bad for them because we all got trauma. But at the same time, fuck you, bitch. A little bit. But it is really sad to like be taken financially advantage of. I'm not going to try to be like super like a heartless bitch about it, but yeah.
investment opportunity for her, and then James Warren's business partner defrauded her of $1.3 million. Now, can I claim definitively that James Warren was aware of the fraud that was taking place and willingly complicit in helping Mr. Hutchins defraud old ladies? No, but from what I've heard of James Warren's character,
It's difficult to feel for someone if they irked you to that extent. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you guys acknowledge that. Yeah. Because that's not like, because again, what they went through was absolute dog shit. Again, I'm just super biased. That's all it is.
how he's hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog, defrauded people in his own ways. Creative juice is an interesting one that could be looked into, which was done with Mr. Beast, as well as another scheme that we'll get into that he conducted with LaCoya Hill. I personally believe that when he was working with Mr. Hutchins, he was in similar company. I think the COO of acquisitions would know and be sort of responsible for properties not being properly acquired through the court system. But again, that's my opinion. That's all allegedly. Now on to his alleged best friend, LaCoya Hill. They both went to UNC Chapel Hill together, and they both, after graduating, got into real estate. But by 2017, LaCoya Hill was running an adult entertainment event business in San Francisco called LaCoya Hill Entertainment. Then in 2019, he was hired to Mr. Beast as a producer.
Our party evolved into this place where, you know, you have the drag queens, the muscle daddies, the bears, the twinks, the like posh boys.
Now I'm all for personal
I'm sorry, did they put Chandler as a bear? I'm sorry. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Our party evolved into this place where, you know, you have the drag queens, the muscle daddies, the bears.
Calling Chandler a bear is crazy.
The twinks, the like posh boys.
Now, I'm all for personal freedoms. I believe adults should be able to do whatever they want. However, I question what qualified the sort of go-go dance drag daddy of San Francisco for a job producing YouTube content for children. Well, you know, it'd also be weird if Mr. Beast hired Johnny Sins as the janitor, I guess. It's not the real issue, though. The issue is that in late 2021, he was allegedly fired for sexually assaulting his assistant.
Oh my God.
Fired in quotation
What
marks.
is with, like, I just don't understand. Like, if you're hiring someone to be an executive position within your company and they're let go of the previous company for allegations of assault, why are you taking them in with open arms? And I believe in reform. I believe that people can change. I just have a hard time believing it for fucking sex crimes. Because a lot of the time, it's a power thing. It's a power dynamic, right? And it just feels weird, man. Like, I don't know. Is a motherfucker so talented that you had to hire them for your COO? And also, it feels weird because we already talked about the other guy. What was his name? Delaware. Who raped a child between the ages of 1 to 11 was the charge they had. And I'm like, what is happening? I also had very weird comments on that video when I talked about that. There's people, because he didn't plead no contest. He pled guilty, right? And I think people don't know the difference between pleading no contest and pleading guilty. And it's very strange because admission of guilt is a part of when you plead guilty. You are admitting that you did it. And I think a lot of people are like, well, he had to say it because, when she was 16, she accused him of it. And then he had to say that he did it. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. There needs to be proof provided that allegations need to be substantial, which is no longer allegations because he's convicted. He was a convicted pedophile. Like, be real with yourself. And it's like, if you admit guilt, that means during that, you knew there was enough evidence to go against you. Because you're not pleading no contest. There's a big difference. And it's like, holy shit. It feels weird when you're defending a guy. Like, you don't understand, like, girls these days. Dude, what the fuck are we talking about, man? That's the topic about. We're talking about Mr. Beast's company and how he hires the sexual predators and pedophiles. And one of them's a convicted pedophile. And he knew that when hiring him, which is also weird. Well, here it says, in late 2021, he allegedly fired for sexually assaulting his assistant. He was quietly moved to the dubbing company. Only he was brought back to Mr. Beast in 2023 and promoted to COO. So yeah, he was hired in 2019. And then in 2021, he was fired. And then in 2023, he was promoted to COO. Right? Like, again, it is allegedly. It's allegedly, and I understand, like, benefit of the doubt for people. But you work with kids. That's my fucking problem. And I'm okay with, like, I'm not okay with most shit, man. I'm just not. It's just fucking weird. It's like you have a child audience focused company. So, like, what are you doing? Just hire different people. Like, if you're doing this for other companies and other, like, industries, but even then, like, the other dude is a predator towards children. Like, Delaware is a predator towards children. So, like, what are we doing?
Because he was actually quietly moved to the dubbing company, which was Unilingo at the time. Here is proof that he used the LaCoya at unilingo.tv email, links back to him, links to these photos, one of which was the profile picture for his YouTube channel, which also, after my first video, his YouTube channel mysteriously got deleted. And at some point, his Twitter also got deleted. I don't know if that's when he sexually assaulted his assistant. I don't know if that's after my first video got posted. Either way, Booty Call Wednesdays are canceled. He was actually...
Okay, him saying that at the end of that was crazy. I had to laugh. Just Booty Call Wednesday's crazy. He knew enough to put a mask on him and not reveal his real name. True. When it came to Delaware situation, yeah. I'm okay with adults making kids content, but, like, the bare minimum is don't put predators in your fucking kids content. It's that simple, right? I feel like it's not a hard thing to understand. Yeah, you're making kids content. Yeah, you're making content that's supposed to be meant for, like, all age demographics. Just the bare minimum. The bare minimum.
Brought back to Mr. Beast in 2023 after sexually assaulting his assistant prior, and promoted to Chief Financial Officer, which is how I personally was introduced to him. Here's some evidence from the internal Slack channel at Mr. Beast showing LaCoya Hill acting in some COO capacity, saying there's news reporters outside, do not engage with them. This was shortly after the Time magazine article came out. So here I have a document showing testimony from former Mr. Beast employees talking about LaCoya Hill. And when I say verified former Mr. Beast employee, I had them send some form of proof. I know who some of these people are. They just want to remain anonymous, but...
Yes, LaCoya Hill, the current COO in 2021, had an assistant named... I heard LaCoya acted very inappropriately with blank booking hotel rooms with only... Again, weird way to put it. Because the person goes, I heard LaCoya acted very inappropriate with. But you're not saying it as a first-hand account. You're not saying, I know. Because listen, you're anonymous. You can say I know. You're not going to get sued for that. This is fine. If you weren't anonymous, then yeah, you'd have issues legally. But you heard it from somebody else. Like, that's the thing, is I wish we had people or victims that like said, right? And I'm not trying to listen, if he did it, he did it. I'm not here trying to be like a fucking weirdo denier. I just wish that we had a motherfucker who just didn't say, I heard, I knew, like, I blah, 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 right? I want somebody who's like, just, he fucking did it. I'm anonymous. I don't want my name revealed. I don't want to be associated. I don't want to be like fought for this, blah, blah. He did it. I saw blah, blah, blah happen. I saw this interaction. I saw a message. I saw firsthand, like a firsthand account, or like even I talked to the victim, right? But these people aren't even talking to the victim. They're talking to other people who heard about the situation. And that's what feels weird. But you can only say allegedly. Yeah, but this person's not saying it with their own accountability in mind, right? So they're speaking anonymously. So I feel like they're in a safe, I don't. All right, let me continue reading this. Hotel's room with one bed, walking around in underwear, having Blank come to his house, showing him his sexy toy collection. Just in general, LaQuia made Blank uncomfortable. Blank started complaining to higher ups, and a report got written. Oh, okay, then let's get one of the higher ups to verify. Right? If this person's saying, I heard that this all happened, reach out to a higher up. Because if it got reported, there's a report somewheres. Grab the report. Get someone who can get access to the report, right? I feel like that's... But what if they don't verify it? At the end of the day, I'm always willing to give a victim the benefit of the doubt, right? I just feel like when it comes to making a video about allegations and your proof is people saying, I heard versus I've like witnessed, it makes for a weaker argument. That's my issue. It's not about, my issue is not with the victims. My issue is with the information presented in the video. Does that make sense? Because the victims, they're doing their thing. It's just, I wish the video itself had stronger examples or stronger advocates for what happened besides secondhand information.
You know, I'm willing to share this with like an independent third party if it needs to happen. Personally, I don't think Mr. Beast is going to deny.
Sorry, one more second. Let me finish reading that text. LaQuia was put on paid leave for a month. Then Mr. Beast moved him to the dubbing company, and he was hired back to Mr. Beast in 2023 and was promoted to COO, even though Jimmy, James, and Sue 100% know his history. Also, I heard that Blank was let go and given $30K in severance. Well, that differs. Hold on. Earlier in the video, we were told that the person was given 3 years worth of severance. But now we're told they're given $30K in severance? Right? Isn't that a contradicting statement? Two different people? Oh, the other person was the guy with the last name H, right? That was a different person? Okay, my bad. So, LaQuia Hill's one, and the other person was James Hatch. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying with me, chat. Appreciate that. I was getting mixed up there.
This LaQuia Hill story that I'm going to show you. But here's the first testimony, and I'll say this person is especially credible in my opinion. I asked them, did you see or hear of any sexual misconduct at the company? They say yes. LaQuia Hill, the current COO. In 2021, he had an assistant named victim's name. I heard LaQuia acted very inappropriately with victim, booking hotel rooms with only one bed, walking around in his underwear, having victim come to his house and showing him his sex toy collection. Just in general, LaQuia made victim uncomfortable. Victim started complaining to higher-ups and a report got written. LaQuia was put on paid leave for like a month. Then Mr. Beast moved him to the dubbing company, and he was hired back in 2023 and was promoted to COO, even though Jimmy, James, and Sue 100% know his history. Also, I heard that when Victim was let go, he was given $30,000 in severance. I could get you Victim's number. I don't know if he'd talk.
Yeah, for the person who says that this could be the victim, if they put down, I could get you the victim's number, I don't know if he'd talk. That's probably not the victim then.
I respond, yeah, that'd be great. Also, is there proof he moved to the dubbing company? I could look. It was the original dubbing company called Unilingo. Mr. Beast practically forced them to hire LaQuia, and then they poached Unilingo's employees and copied their whole business and created Creator Global. Verified employee number 2. Ask them the same question, have you heard of any sexual misconduct at the company? They say yes. I don't know how to spell their name, but LaQuia, something like that. He was brought in last year after having not worked there for a year or so at a very high level. I respond, LaQuia Hill. They say the reason he had been asked to leave previously is that he had sexually harassed someone that still worked at the company when he was brought back. Yes, LaQuia Hill. But they brought him back knowing he had sexually harassed an employee previously. And people often talk about LaQuia making them very uncomfortable on shoots. I verify.
Okay. Like, again, I believe that just because it lines up with the timeline. 2019, the allegations came out against him. Sorry, 2019, he works there. 2021, allegations. 2023, he's back. That lines up perfectly. Like, I do believe the victims who've been affected by him, right, by LaQuia Hill, I do believe them. And I feel like that one is a bit more of like a clear timeline that corroborates the timeline we're currently going through. I wish for the specifics of the allegations that it was verified by somebody who saw the report or the report passed through their desk or something. That's what I like. For me, it's about the detailing, because I do believe the victims in this, right? To be clear.
By employee number 3, I'm looking into more accusations of sexual misconduct at the company, wondering if there's anything you could corroborate. Have you heard of anything about LaQuia Hill? They respond, the old gay guy who likes to bang 18-year-old straight employees. Yeah, I've heard of him. Anything non-consensual to your knowledge? I heard he got in trouble for hooking up with his 18-year-old straight assistant, but the company kept it quiet from what I heard. He's a producer and worked in the adult entertainment before Mr. Beast. Yeah, LaQuia Hill Entertainment. I heard he was fired for sexual harassment, then brought back a year later. That's what I heard too. Employee number 4. Do you know who LaQuia Hill is? Yes. And you're aware of the case that has been covered up for some time. Explain. Essayed multiple people, apparently roofied multiple people as well. Verified employee number 5. I'll also say this person is especially credible, but they worked there a while ago, like 2020, 2021, around then. Okay, few things. LaQuia sexually assaulted his assistant who was straight and LaQuia was gay. You probably already know that. But James is best friends with him, so holy shit, was that surprising that they kept him around way longer than they should have.
Okay, now this is something that I prefer, even if this person is anonymous, because they're not saying, oh, I heard it from someone. They're like, hey, bro sexually assaulted his assistant. Like, they're saying it more like from an actual place than rather than I heard from others. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for accounts where people who've actually like been aware of the situation enough where they've like either seen firsthand information about it, seen the report, seen like the interactions of his job and hiring. Like, I want someone who's more concrete, like this person. Like, I believe this one, like, again, I believe the victims, but I believe this person who's recounting the situation a lot more than I believed the first person statement. Does that make sense?
There were reports of him making the assistant sleep in the same room / bed with him on trips, touching him inappropriately, and dangling his job in front of him. Employee number 6.
That's fucking disgusting.
Did you hear anything about LaQuia Hill? I heard that incident happened. I heard they let him go, and I heard they brought him back and just put him in a different department. And I think he's working there again. Now, recently, Mr. Beast has let LaQuia Hill go. They had this sort of leaked email where they say...
someone with more convictions to their claims? I mean, somebody who hasn't said that I've heard it secondhand. I feel like the moment you tell me that you've heard something from somebody else and that it's secondhand information, I no longer feel like there's as much accountability for what's being said. And I don't feel like it's as strong, right? So for example, even when dealing with, like the situation I talked about at the beginning of this video, where like, you know, I had a former friend who was like 100% creepy as fuck, but I had no idea until I read accounts. And then I was like, okay, I read these. I believe these people that he's being creepy because I'm reading these screenshots and they're creepy, right? I also want to hear direct. And then I had other people messaging me being like, this person's creepy. The people who messaged me about my former friend being creepy, Evil Toaster, I didn't really care about those people. What I cared about was the people that he directly affected and then what his own statement would be, which he never made a statement. That's what I care about more. I really don't give a shit what people who weren't affected say by stuff because you're not involved. What I care about are the victims affected. What I care about is the person who enacted something says, or people who have direct contact with the situation. And that's how I feel. And the same thing applies to this, where it's like people who are more external but hear things about the issue, I have less concern with. People who have more direct information about the issue, I care a lot more for about their statements and about what, like, because they have the credibility behind it because they've interacted with it more. And I believe victims. I just like to know a more fledged out, firm affirmation that backs victims in a stronger way. Wait, what did Evil Toaster do? I talked about it at the beginning of the video. If you want to go back and watch it, I'll do a TLDR right now, but I will timestamp it in the video description for it when I put this on YouTube. Just weird kind of sex pest shit. He was just DMing multiple VTuber women and just flirting with them inappropriately. Some of them felt like in their own statements, they felt like they were leading him on. But even then, he kind of said weird shit like, I don't know if I can hold myself back around you. I don't know if I can actually just like, it's just very strange behavior. And I waited for him to make a statement because I was like, you know what, benefit of the doubt. Because he told me that they were like mutual, that he was like flirting with women and that it was like mutual and then things turned sour and then, right? I was like, okay, so like you have evidence is literally what I said to him in the DM. And then he never showed me any screenshots of evidence and he never made a statement. And then he just started streaming again like nothing happened. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, just fuck off. Have accountability. Like, I'm totally fine with dropping friends if you're not going to hold yourself accountable for your actions. You're going to act like nothing happened. Really? There's people stating that you've been fucking weird. 54-page document of you being weird. And you're not going to post a single screenshot that you say you have evidence that it was mutual. Really? Really? Like, then you don't have it. You just don't have the evidence then. And I gave time to him. That's the reason why I didn't make a follow-up statement being like anything, because I wanted to like give it time and be like, okay. But when the moment I saw him streaming again, I was like, fuck this. You're not my friend anymore. Fuck that. Just gross sex pest behavior, and I'm just not about it. And yeah, again, I don't mind dropping people if they're pieces of shit. That's not a big deal to me. And I don't ever want to look like I'm out here defending someone who's weird online. I don't care enough to. Right? I'm here doing my own thing. I got my own issues to deal with. Again, I'm always down to give people the chance to like defend themselves and say something. But that was fucking stupid. Oh, never mind. This rant was way different than I thought it was going to be. You're so right. Yeah. I think people expected me to keep defending him. I didn't even mean to defend him originally. All I said was that I really hope the parties involved are okay. And it sucks that like this happened. I put out an original tweet way before the allegations, 14 hours before the allegations came out. I put out a tweet that defended him because I didn't know anything. And then like 14 hours later, that 54-page document came out and I deleted the original tweet and I was like, yo, that was tone deaf as fuck. Because I had no idea that like this shit was going on. Right? Insane. Anyways, if any of my friends do weird shit, I'm more than happy dropping them. I do like to give them the opportunity to clear themselves if they tell me that they didn't do it. And if they act, and then if they don't fucking clear themselves, I'm not going to defend you. Fuck you. Right? If you're a weirdo online, I'm not here to pretend that we're okay when we're not. Fuck that. And you don't deserve my empathy or sympathy for your situation anymore if you were a piece of shit. It's that simple. And I don't mind standing on business about that. Again, if other weird shit came out about my other friends, even my close friends, I'm fine dropping a person if they're fucking weird. It's not a problem for me. It's just like, I like to give people the opportunity, especially if I've known them for years, to say otherwise and to make a statement. And if you choose not to, I'm going to just assume you're fucking guilty with your silence. Kind of similar to like Cody Ko's situation. When you think about it, mind you, Cody Ko's situation is about him and a minor, which is different than this situation. For Toaster, it's about him and being a sex pest with other content creators. For Cody Ko's situation, it was about him and a 17-year-old, but he never made a statement. He just kept uploading videos like nothing happened. And that's an issue I have with like current day social media, is that people think it's acceptable behavior that you just keep uploading and never acknowledge anything. Even Mr. Beast is doing that right now. He has not put out a statement or anything. And people keep saying rumors that he'll put out a statement when all these videos are from Dogpack. He'll put out a statement when all the allegations are out, right? But he's still uploading like nothing's happened. He's uploading regularly still, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't fuck with that at all. It's so stupid. And I hate that it works. Yeah, there's so many people who play the Clout Olympics who would rather just keep acting like nothing happened and like not address the situation and say sorry, or that like, or at least like show their side of it. And it's because they know they fucked up. That's why they don't show anything. And it's gross. So again, I'm not here to defend a weirdo. I wanted to give my friend the opportunity to benefit of the doubt. Fuck no, not my friend anymore. Don't give a shit. Simple as that. And bright side is Alicia is adding new friends and other friends you haven't met before to the channel. And if you're wondering, Alicia, I haven't seen you in a video with this person. It's because you wouldn't have seen a video with me with this person. I used to collaborate with them back when I used to be a fleshy, and I used to use a face cam for when it came to Evil Toaster. And yeah, ever since I started VTubing, we never collabed. So I think I might have jumped on their stream one time for a Helldivers game, but I didn't record it. I didn't turn it into a YouTube video. So if you don't know who they are, it's not a big fucking deal. And I don't know, why can't you just be friends with women normally? And like, he would talk to me normally because I've been in a relationship the whole time he's known me, basically. So like, I never had the weird interactions. Zentreya was also, if you know that VTuber, Zentreya was also friends with him, and they streamed pretty much every second day together. And she clearly didn't know either. Because again, he doesn't flirt with people who like already taken or have a lot of clout. He flirts with people who have lower like view counts. When I was looking at the people who had allegations against him, I was like, holy shit, these are all smaller content creators than Zentreya and I. And that's what felt even more gross about it. Because the power dynamic. Because those women, like a part of you is going to feel bad for rejecting him, because you're going to feel like, oh, I won't be able to like rise up in my VTuber career if I say like, if I like shut him down because he's so connected with other like VTubers and stuff. And I'm like, fuck, I don't mess with that at all. Like, that's insane. That sucks that those women felt that way in that situation. Alicia being a flesh tuber seems weird. Yeah, I know. So yeah, like, I feel bad for Zentreya. I feel bad for myself even for like, like having to like deal with the fact that our friend is a piece of shit. The people I feel worst for are the people actually affected by it. And I got a lot of hate. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. I got a lot of hate on Twitter because people are fucking psychos. They're like, you're defending a predator. And I'm like, I did not defend a predator. Let me be clear. What I did was I posted a tweet 14 hours before Allegeations came out, thinking that my friend was a good person. Allegeations came out 14 hours later. I recanted what I said because I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is happening? And then I'm now stating very clearly, no, I don't take his fucking side because he's streaming like nothing happened. And rather than people shitting on him, they started shitting on me because I made a statement. And I was like, all right, man. Like, Twitter mob just wants to be mad for some reason. That's fine. That's cool. Like, fair enough. But at the end of the day, go get mad at the person who fucking did the shit. Don't get mad at me because I do not fuck with him. Yep. So, Twitter is under a mistake, yeah. Anyways, I know there's another tangent about that because people were asking, but yeah, again, I'm not here to protect anybody. I'm not here to do any of that shit when it comes to somebody being weird online. Don't care. Yeah, just that simple.
Therefore, along with Jeff Hausenbold, our new president and COO, right? Alluding to the fact that LaQuia Hill is no longer working there. Now, I have been open with Mr. Beast about the fact that I was going to cover LaQuia Hill. This is a single frame in my first video where I reference LaQuia. He's also in my Twitter header. And I've also just told people who work at Mr. Beast that they have to let LaQuia Hill go. So they did what I wanted and let him go, right? Well, just on a whim, I decided to look into the Creator Global LinkedIn, and it had gone private to where everyone just shows up as a LinkedIn member, right? But I saw this, L, LinkedIn member, president at Creator Global. I thought, you know what, that's a little suspicious. So I reached out to one of my connections close to Mr. Beast and I said, hey, can you look into this account for me? Because sometimes if you have connections, you can see private LinkedIn accounts. And this is what they saw. LaQuia Hill, listed as the current president at Creator Global.
Oh my God.
Work history between graduating UNC in May 2001 and becoming the president at Creator Global in 2024. Dude, this is like the 3-cup game where you gotta like keep track of the pets and races as Mr. Beast just moves them between companies.
They just sort of kept moving them around. You know, like those killer whales at SeaWorld, after it kills a trainer, they'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background.
Which I heard, you know, Mr. Beast or James Warren forced you.
That's so fucking gross.
Unilingo to hire LaQuia as sort of part of their partnership without, you know, sending them the report on his alleged sexual misconduct at the company. I also have a voice memo from James Warren showing that they told Unilingo to process a $28,000 bonus for LaQuia.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Which there's definitely something suspicious going on with that.
Hey, buddy, it's James. Sorry to be bothering you. I've done my absolute best not to bother you. But LaQuia had presented a bunch of stuff to me and Jimmy a little bit ago.
Voice memo from Mr. B CEO James Warren to Unlingo name. Okay. Sorry. I just want to say, so this is James Warren talking.
A $28,000 bonus for LaQuia, which there's definitely something suspicious going on with that.
Hey, buddy, it's James. Sorry to be bothering you. I've done my absolute best not to bother you. But LaQuia had presented a bunch of stuff to me and Jimmy a little bit ago. All really great stuff. But he had asked me and Jimmy personally. He's like, hey, you know, can I have a $28,000 bonus for work I did in the past? And I'm like, yeah, of course, man. And the reason for that is I had brought him up to my level, and I don't take bonuses. So for like 2 years, he didn't get any bonuses when our guys were getting like crazy percentage bonuses. I need a favor. Sue cannot process this bonus through Beast. I need a solid. Can you please process a $28K bonus for LaQuia? Let me know. Bye.
And then they
Oh my God. Hey, you know that guy who's a sexual predator? Yeah, can you give him a $28,000 bonus and move him to your company? Thanks.
used LaQuia to...
Well, that's a receipt from hell. Yup. We do love a good direct voicemail from someone.
try to steal Unilingo's business, poach their employees, take their clients, and then Mr. Beast launched Creator Global, where LaQuia Hill is currently listed as the president. So that's LaQuia Hill. And that's just what I can put on the record. I will say that if Mr. Beast tries to deny this, more evidence will be brought to light, and more people will definitely come out defending me, saying, hey, this is true. These allegations are true. This is all true. Allegedly, in my opinion, for legal reasons. Okay, now let's move on to the man himself, Jimmy Donaldson. First, I'll show this testimony from another former Mr. Beast employee just to show sort of the work culture, especially from a female's perspective. She says, on my very first day, I was told to avoid being alone in a room with certain people in positions of power. At least once a week, I was subjugated to inappropriate questions and conversations. Once, a male coworker asked me what I would do if Jimmy assaulted or harassed me. On another occasion, this same coworker said it wasn't fair that women could just decide a past sexual encounter wasn't consensual. Many of the men I worked with would make assault and pedophilia jokes on a daily basis. They would scream and hit walls when they got upset. The minute any woman leaves a room, they would talk about if/how they would fuck her. I've heard men comment on female contestants' bodies many times. Not every...
The thing about this is I am very willing to believe it, because when a workplace culture gets established, it becomes commonplace, right? So working for Blizzard, yeah, I had 2 friends who worked at Blizzard, and one of the 2 was a part of the lawsuit, right? Was a part of the big ass shit going down, which is why I stopped playing Overwatch. I stopped playing any Blizzard game. If you guys probably noticed that over time, that I just don't do anything in relation to Blizzard at all, because one of my friends was directly affected by it. By the way, if you still play Overwatch or you still like playing Blizzard games, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to judge you. Every company's dog shit at the end of the day. It's just that when you personally know someone affected, it's a bit different. So again, you're fine. Do you. Don't really give a shit what you do with your life. I personally don't, just because I know someone personally involved, right? And a big thing for her was that it was a part of workplace culture. It was very much conversation to conversation normalized. So you might be like, okay, this feels like some Hollywood shit. This feels a bit like exaggerated. No, it's not. When it becomes such a standard that it's normal to talk like that, people treat it like that. And like some people who aren't even normally talking like that, some people who normally don't interact that way, in order to like assimilate to the culture, in order to connect with other coworkers well, will start to behave the same way. So even those who like are like, my friends wouldn't really do that, right? But then when they join that culture and they want to assimilate and be involved and connect with other coworkers, especially in a workspace that requires like a lot of hours, they start to behave that way as well. And yeah, anyways, that's like my big thing. For anyone who's like, I don't think it's that bad or anything like that, if you want to start contesting it, that's kind of what happens in these situations. And like, I know somebody who firsthand experienced that. Even for my former workplace, for one of the locations I worked at, there was a pretty big issue with one of the owners where he, not a good person. And it was well known, and people would be like, well, just don't catch him on a bad day, was like the thing. And every woman I know just left. Like no one stayed. There's barely any women ever hired for a reason, or if they did, they'd stay for maybe a month at most. And it was just disgusting and a terrible place to be in. And I get it. Like, and some people be like, well, if the workplace is that bad, why don't you just leave? And it's like, imagine going to school and getting the education you get and working so fucking hard to climb up into the industry, getting a job at a company that you're really excited for and very passionate for, just to deal with people being pieces of shit. The worst part is that when you leave a company very quickly after dealing with something like this, it looks bad on your resume. And like when the next job looks at you, they're like, oh, you only were working at blah, blah, blah for like a month, for like a few months. Oh, you don't have loyalty to companies. We don't want to hire you. And that's a huge fucking issue. So it's like, there's so many like, and then people's livelihoods, man. Like one of the big issues that I dealt with personally was I was assaulted in the workplace, and my friend still worked for my assaulter. Right. And that was something like when they first kept working with him, I like mentally was broken. Right. But I understood like they need to pay rent. They need to like live their lives. I can't ask people to drop their occupations for me just because they saw what happened to me and they saw what my body was like after, where I couldn't walk like, and that I had to get surgery to like walk. And I was fine after. I was walking perfectly fine after and stuff. My current walking stuff is just because of my cancer. It's whatever. It's not the same injury, but well, technically it's delayed injury. But anyways, my issue, which is like why I dropped the friends that I did back during that time, was that I quit the job. I stayed for a while after because they kept paying me even though I wasn't showing up anymore. So I stayed on payroll. They were paying me, and I just didn't go to work anymore because everyone knew what happened to me. So they just would mark me down as if I was there, but I just wasn't there. Until finally they stopped paying me. And I wouldn't leave my apartment. I wouldn't talk to people anymore. I was really disconnected. And I finally started interacting with my friends again about half a year later, maybe more like 8 months later or so. And I found out they were hanging out with I almost said his name originally, and then I said, as I say with my assaulter, probably better to say that. They're hanging out with him outside of work. Like they would go out to drinks with him. And I was like, I understand having to keep your job, and I get that. And like, you know, needing your income. I'm not going to tell you to quit, but like have some fucking respect for me and not go out drinking with him. And they're like, Alicia, you don't understand. When you go drinking with him, that's what like ups your opportunities in the business. And I'm like, dude, the lack of respect to have towards me to do that feels too high. Because I'm willing to like be like to compromise and be like, yeah, man, I understand you have to keep working there. It's your job and your livelihood. But like the bare minimum is don't fucking party with a guy who was coked out of his fucking mind when he assaulted me, and have the audacity to party with him when he's coked out of his mind. Like, come on. Just insane behavior. Anyways, yeah. And the thing was is that they all knew it happened. They all saw evidence of it happening because my blood, they had to change the carpet of the floor that I worked in, because I worked in a studio. And so they all knew. Like there was physical evidence there. They all knew it happened. It's not like it was something that was like he said, she said. Yeah. Anyways, big thing was I dropped those friends too. I'm fine with dropping friends in life. It's something that deeply affected me in my connections with other people, which is why when I make stronger friend connections, I hold them tight like no tomorrow, right? And I think one of the things you'll notice about me in particular is that when I get a friend who's extremely close to me, you will see them constantly, right? Like, for example, you'll see Koma and Azu tied at my hip 24/7. And that's something that, like, when I feel safe with someone and when I feel, like, reassured, like they have my back, I will never let them go and I will champion them. Other friends I have externally from those few, and Ant is a good example too. Like, outside of, like, those three, everybody else is more of an acquaintance to me who I talk to once in a while, that I interact with here and there. Is the guy in jail? I know he got charged for something else by someone else, but not for me. So I know that there's gonna be people who are upset about me not. I mean, I did get a rape kit done back when it happened, so it's still there because rape kits are viable for 10 years. So if I want to still press charges, I can. But someone else who was assaulted before me came out, and they're currently going through that right now. So, and there's going to be someone, if you reported it, then, you know, you're saving people after you. Well, if that person reported it, they could have saved me, right? I'm not going to think that way. Everyone has the right to report when they feel comfortable, when they feel ready. And it's never going to be the person before me's fault. It's going to be his fault. That's the reality. And to anyone who says otherwise, fuck you. Because there is no reason for her to be responsible for my safety when he's the fucking problem. Does that make sense? So I'm glad she's going through with it, though. Yeah, I found out that maybe like 2-3 years ago is when I found out that was all going through. But it's really tied up legally, so I have no idea what's going on now. Because I haven't checked in with it. I don't want to check in with it, to be honest. Makes a lot of sense, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fucked situation. And on a interesting note, on a little bit of a brighter note, because I know that was super heavy, was that after I was like, you know, I was still getting paid by the company, I started working in esports. And that's when I started my commentary career, because I left my previous job, started my commentary career, took off in esports, played professionally in video games, and moved into this whole industry. So, like, things definitely turned around for me in life, which was fantastic. And, you know, I shredded a lot of friends and relationships I had in the past, and, like, really started to pick myself back up as, like, this new, stronger person. I was a really quiet person most of my life, and a very, like, anxious, shy person. And now I'm, like, this really loud, bad bitch. I'm the person who I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be that confident girl in a room. And I definitely turned into that. So there's definitely a good light at the end of the story. I chose to live. I chose to be here. I chose to battle cancer and have kids because he's not taking that away from me, which is something I haven't really talked about. You guys always ask me, why don't I just adopt? Why don't I get a surrogate? I don't want him to have taken my opportunity to have kids myself. Was one of the biggest things that pushed me to choose this way of battling cancer. I didn't want to get a hysterectomy because I wanted to win and I wanted to have kids myself. And it was a big deal to me, which is something I haven't really opened up about at any point. But yeah, so it means a lot to me to be able to like keep my body. So yeah, it's been a long fucking fight with cancer. It's been 2 years, I've been battling, but we're near the end of the road. My large mass is gone. I only have 2 more malignant spots left. So things are looking pretty damn good. And I'm going to pop out babies. I'm going to buy a big ass house because YouTube money is fucking lit. And I am going to get married. And that's a fucking vibe. And my besties, Homa, Azu, even Dawn, even Fax, all invited to the wedding. Aunt's invited to the wedding too. So you'll see them all there taking selfies. All right, drinking it up, eating good food. Because, you know, you gotta have real ones in your corner. So yeah. Anyways, I know it's like really heavy to talk about a lot of this stuff. So I'm glad I got to end it on like me being, me definitely turning my life around and being happier. So yeah. I know this is like a lot of info in one video for sure. So this is like definitely like this is a good podcast session, huh? While we talk about other people being fucked up.
Everyone behaves this way, but no one openly speaks out against it in fear of losing their job. If you complain about any of this, you'll be shamed for being too sensitive or just ignored. You can't take anything to HR either because Jimmy's mom runs it. It's pretty common for people to essentially get paid to leave and stay
Jimmy's
quiet.
mom is HR? Are you fucking with me? Oh my God, I knew she was a higher up position. I didn't realize she was your human resources. That is the biggest conflict of interest.
Make enough noise about something. There is no employee handbook, by the way. If you ask for one or what the company's policies are, they just tell you to ask them and they'll let you know if anything is against the rules. But again, there's nothing in writing, which is true. The leaked document is just the production manual, not given to all employees. Here's another testimony. This person will go on the record. This is Jess, who accused Ava Chris Tyson of sexual assault. I think her case has been sort of mostly ignored because she wasn't a minor when it happened. But she.
Do you guys know about this? I don't know about this one. I just knew about the minor. Do you guys know about this?
She was a Mr. Beast employee, and you can see in her evidence, in her communications with the company, the clear signs of a cover-up. You can see them like threatening her with legal action and emails and saying like, oh, we're going to have a law firm investigate this. Well, they had one firm do an internal investigation, McGuire Woods LLP, the same law firm that sent me my first cease and desist. But then they hired, I guess, Harvey Weinstein's legal team, allegedly, to re-review everything. So I guess they weren't happy.
Okay, allegedly. Do you have like any confirmation that they hired Harvey Weinstein's legal team? Or is that just something that was said in passing? Who said that? Who here said they hired Harvey
Weinstein's legal?
Sports Illustrated. Mr. Beast has reportedly hired the same lawyers as Harvey Weinstein. Can we get more info on that? That feels like a very clickbait title for Sports Illustrated. Is there like a bit more to that? Is there like matching names? This feels. I would love to know more about that.
Legal team,
that feels fucked.
Allegedly to re-review everything. So I guess they weren't happy with the results of the first internal investigation. Also, yeah, this new law firm, Quinn Emanuel, Mr. Beast has worked with them previously. Allegedly to internally investigate LaKoya Hill's sexual misconduct. So why don't you make that report public, Jimmy? Anyway, here's Jess's testimony. I only hung out with Jimmy a handful of times, but he definitely was a little more reserved around me because I wasn't a part of his inner circle, or the boys club as it's called. I did hear Jimmy straight up say that the guy making a documentary on him right now has footage of him saying stuff that would absolutely get him canceled. It's just a well-known thing the boys club is misogynistic and looks down on women in the company despite what they might say publicly. Behind closed doors, the women in the company know that the culture is a problem. I have heard multiple stories of Jimmy being directly informed of SA happening at the company and proactively working to keep it quiet. So Jess directly implicating Jimmy in the SA cover-ups. LaKoya
Now this is interesting because this is somebody who was a direct assistant of one of the main members of the crew.
With an 18-year-old straight assistant. So she's one of the people corroborating that story. Ava told Jimmy about a time she was essayed by another talent member on a private jet.
Oh. W chatter. Mr. Beast has hired Matthew Hiltz. Hiltzik. Sorry, I can't say that name well. Crisis management company. Matthew H. began his PR career at Weinstein's Miramax. Matthew H. is a lawyer and publicist who represents politicians and Hollywood. Blank 13. Okay. Thank you for grabbing the Sports Illustrated part. I wanted to know more about that. Appreciate you, chat. They really hired a crisis management company to deal with allegations of SA within their own company. That's fucking W. Cringe on Maine. Sorry, Alicia's uncomfortable. That's just insane.
And talent members / employees making advances towards contestants was a regular occurrence. The reason all of this was able to happen for so long is because Jimmy is deeply misogynistic and only respects what he considers to be traditional women. He pushed those values into the company when he created it, and it resulted in several SA allegations we know about, and probably a lot more we don't know.
Okay, so actually, just true. I don't know if you've ever heard Mr. Beast talk about women. It's fucking cringe. And I mean way before Allegations came out. Have you ever heard him talk about his girlfriends leading up till now? About the list of what his girlfriends need to have and how he talks about stupid women and like goes on about that. It's fucking weird, man. Dude talks like a psycho or a robot. It's very weird. He's like, yeah, she needs to have my checklist, and if she doesn't have my checklist, then I don't approve of her because she's not worthy of my time or effort. And then he starts to like explain his checklist. And I'm like, oh, okay, what the fuck do you bring to the table? Right? That's my first question. If you have a checklist for things that a woman needs to have, what do you bring to the table besides your money? Right? And I'm like, well, Jesus, man. To think that that's acceptable feels weird. Oh no, Reddit incel as hell. Yeah. Yeah, you're not a grocery store shopping, my dude. Yeah, dude, it's a fucking list. You got to look up him talking about that shit. It's fucking weird, man. Because he was talking about that back when he had his African girlfriend. Was what the big time he talked about that. And it was weird. He was talking about all the attributes that she has. And then he goes, no, I have a literal checklist. This is what my checklist is. And he proceeded to tell them quite literally what his checklist is to the person talking to him. And I was like, oh. Oh, he's not kidding. Oh, he's serious. Oh, I thought it was like a joke checklist. And then he talked about it multiple times in different podcasts as well. And I'm like, okay. Oh, you're fucking psycho. Got it. Like, oh. If you have a list for girls you might not be into women as people, yep. Listen, it's fine to have preferences. I'm not going to be stupid and say that having preferences is totally normal. Being like, hey, I want a partner who has X, Y, and Z qualities. Totally fine. Where did he say that? If you look up, I know that there was videos of him, and especially in podcasts, where he talks about when he had his African girlfriend. I think is the best one you're going to see it. It's hard because there's so many that I don't know where to pinpoint because it's been a few years. Kind of wonder what happened to his South African girlfriend. I don't think he's with her anymore. I think he's with someone else now. So it was during that time period, though, because it was a new girlfriend compared to what his old one. And everyone was, and that's when we started talking about his preferences leading into that. Yeah, preferences and requirements are different. Exactly. It's totally fine to have preferences for someone you're into. But like making it a requirement as a checklist feels fucking weird. Feels weird. Yeah.
Know yet, which I will say a lot of the SA allegations are still not public. Like, man, just fire James Warren and LaCoya Hill. Fire them. Don't just move them around. Or I'm going to start dropping nukes. Anyway, let's. I'm going to move Maddie Spadell away from all.
Is that the cop who fucked a bunch of people? Or am I wrong? I'm sorry. You guys remember that story I'm talking about? Am I crazy? That's supposed to be a meme. Is that the orgy cop? That's what I thought, right? Isn't that the orgy cop? No, he's not. His penis isn't big enough. I'd know. No, I know his penis size, and it's huge. Beast, are you gay? What's spelled Gey? That moment you deep throat a whole cock. I'll deep throat Chris the meme god dick. Haha. Mr. Beast joins in to comment on my penis size. I love it. It's, I don't know who Discount Milk is. Anyone know who Discount Milk is? Or it's Hayden? I'm just, because my question is this in the server? Is this in the Chris Tyson, the Ava Chris Tyson server with minors? That's the Discord server with underage people. That's what I was wondering, chat. Thank you. I was wondering about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Nukes. Anyway, let's I'm gonna move Maddie Spadell away from all this. I just want to touch on this briefly. So Maddie Spadell, who's Mr. Beast's very public ex-girlfriend of 2.5 years, posted this on her Instagram story. She doesn't mention Jimmy by name. It's sort of vague. I think probably either because she's under an NDA or maybe she's just testing the waters to see how people respond before sharing more information. But also it's like not that vague if you have reading comprehension and can read context clues. She says she spent years being quiet, never acknowledging that time in her life. 19 to 21 are formative years, impacted how she saw herself and how she trusted men. Months of therapy. She says how he treats other women will ultimately be how he treats you. So how does Jimmy treat other women?
I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women.
Well, women are stupid because they're inferior to men.
That when she and a group
Hey chat, you know what I brought up before? He's got it. I do want to say one thing, man. Just fucking insane.
She says how he treats other women will ultimately be how he treats you. So how does Jimmy treat other women?
I don't really get along with women. I
want to say this very clearly. If you ever meet somebody who's like, I don't get along well with women, fuck them. They suck. Dude, if it's a woman who doesn't like other women, if it's a guy who doesn't like other women, red flag, wee woo, wee woo. That's either a fucking pick me or it's a cringe lord. Either way, wee woo, wee woo. Do you know why? Because gender doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Like, if you're a cool person, vibe. Which recently, if you're wondering, for those of you guys who are wondering why my female friends aren't in YouTube videos, I had my community be really weird and start DMing my female friends I brought onto stream a while back, and they lost their bringing female friends privileges. But I'm starting to bring my women, my lady gals back onto stream and back into YouTube videos. So please do me a favor, don't be fucking weird. If you start DMing them and start being weird, I will come after you with everything I've got. That means a whole legion of rat army. My whole rat army will come take your cheese. So don't be fucking weird, okay? Because I am bringing my female friends back to the channel. So again, don't be weird. So, because again, women are awesome, dudes are awesome. Who gives a shit? Non-binary, shout out. Like, I don't like. It doesn't. Just gender doesn't matter. Like, there's so many cool fucking people out there, and like honestly, one of the biggest things when it came to my career, especially in esports, is that it shouldn't be a competition against other women. There were some women in the scene who felt like other women were competition. It's not, man. Nobody's really competition. What's competition is yourself. Always yourself. Because you can always improve on yourself constantly. I know that's some motivational bullshit, but it's true. Have you looked at my videos from like when I started this channel to where I am now? Like to how outspoken and boisterous and like charismatic I've become versus how mousy I was at the start? I went from being mousy to being a rat tyrant. You know what I mean? Like it's just self-development, exploration, learning about yourself. That's the main drive. Why are you giving a fuck about other people for and treating other people like competition? That's also the reason why my YouTuber friends, ones with larger channels, ones with smaller channels, I really don't give a shit. Doesn't matter, man, because we're all just doing our own thing. We're not here fighting for each other's viewers. We're just hanging out. Because it doesn't matter. You know? Shit. At Queen Alicia vibe.
I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women.
Well, women are stupid because they're inferior to men.
That when she and a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event had asked the production staff about getting their underwear more quickly, she had been told that it was not a medical emergency.
You'll never actually respect a woman, but just act like you respect them.
My God.
Mr. Beast with help.
Hey, replacing your pads is actually extremely important. If you do not, especially within the first 2 days of your... Okay. Especially in the first 2 days of having your period, for those of you guys who just maybe don't know about this concept. Yeah, so the first 2 days of having your period, you have a heavier flow because your uterine line is shedding. And during this cycle of your uterine line shedding early on is heavier. And your pads need to be changed sometimes like 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes more frequently for other people, depending on how like wide set you are. And this is important because of infection, right? The longer you have that. And also, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, sanitary pads are toxic. If you wear sanitary pads for long durations, like a day or even 2 days, it's extremely unhealthy for you. Toxic shock, yeah. And people don't realize the importance of changing. And that's why when like there's women who are like, oh, I'm having my period, like I need to let go. I need to use the washroom right now. Like there's timing factors. Also, for those of you guys who don't know, your uterus and your bladder, the more filled it gets, actually pushes against your uterus. So that's the reason why you'll notice that women use the bathroom more frequently on their period because they feel bloated. They tend to drink more water. They tend to fill their bladder and it causes pressure. So things like that are really important. So like biology, right? Have some fucking compassion. That is something medically related. Let them change their underwear. Let them change their fucking tampon or pad. Thank you.
Held my birth control. I have ovarian cysts. You can't just stop taking birth control.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She has PCOS. She has PCOS and they didn't let her take her fucking birth control. If you don't know what PCOS is, it's cystic ovary syndrome. Cystic ovary syndrome is having cysts in your ovaries that cause you to have irregular bleeding. One of the common treatments for this is birth control. Okay? And I personally got misdiagnosed with this early on, which is why I know so much about it. Polycystic, sorry. I got misdiagnosed with this early on before they realized I had cancer because that's what they thought I had. Until they did their initial like ultrasound and they're like, wait, you look fine. And then they did their MRI and they're like, oh shit, it wasn't that, right? That's what they initially thought for me. So originally they put me on birth control thinking that would help me because of my bleeding. But the thing is that when people have like PCOS, you have like a lot of heavy continual bleeding. You don't have regular periods. A lot of people with PCOS actually have anemia because of how their irregular bleeding happens. Right? So they either have to go on like high iron diets. They have to sometimes even get prescription iron, which is a higher level of supplement than you can get like over the counter. There's so many different levels of things that you do that are readjusted. And birth control is one of the best ways to help regulate it. So with that in mind, that's a fucking problem. Birth control is not something where it's like, oh, you just don't want to get pregnant. No. There is way more uses for it beyond that. My wife goes for iron transfusions. Yeah. Like this is a serious thing. It's medical. And it's like just because you're so uneducated about the like female anatomy does not give you the right. Because even if you don't know that, who here would like stop you from taking if you were taking any medication and someone's like, you don't really need to take your medication. What the fuck, right? Just because it's birth control, you're going to act stupid about it? Doesn't matter what medication is. A medication's a medication. You need to take it at the time you're supposed to. It's that simple.
I don't really get along with women.
Also in this podcast, Jimmy goes on to talk about his relationship with his current girlfriend, Tia, in very weird ways, in my opinion.
For us now, like an idea of a date is just to like take an IQ test and then study and see if we can get a higher. An idea of a date is just to like take an IQ test. And then she was like,
study and see if we can take your IQ test higher. Oh, he doesn't even know what an IQ test does. He doesn't understand the purpose of an IQ test. He's treating it like it's an SAT. IQ tests aren't SATs, bro. It's not this. It's so fucking stupid. He's so stupid. What are you gonna do? All right, bitch, let's study pattern recognition so that you can switch your brain faster in different modes when understanding pattern recognition into the next subject. Thus, we can increase your IQ. You're a fucking moron. You're a moron. What are we doing here?
I'm an author. And I was like, fuck yeah, good. She has a hobby. And then I just DM'd her. I was like, oh, so your book. Can I read it? She sent it over, read the whole book, and it was just like acting like it was the greatest book ever. I don't really get along with women.
It's all of our job. Jobs to protect our friends, our moms, our wives, our sisters, our daughters, ourselves from people like that. That's a pretty clear statement, if you ask me. Now, I almost feel like there's been a campaign again.
3 years away from that weirdo, my skin is clear, my relationship and friendships are flourishing, and I'm frolicking in the fields. She's so vague. She said nothing. From the looks of it, I don't need to. Not putting myself through that shit again, but thanks. I love that for her. Someone in chat goes, correction, women don't get along with you. You are the problem. Just thinking of women as being lower is so gross. So gross. I'll say it. I had a friend who had an Andrew Tate phase where he thought Andrew Tate was based as fuck. And for any of you who might have thought that at some point, I don't blame you for the reason that he's smart with his approach. And the reason being is that Andrew Tate will always say one thing that's true, followed up by some heinous shit. So that way you start going, oh, I agree with that. And then he continues to say something really fucked up. Like, he'll say something like, I believe that all men deserve to be loved and that true love really does exist. And every person with common sense goes, fuck yeah, dude, I believe in that. I love a good loving relationship. Then after that, he'll be like, but the problem is that bitches out there who play with your head. But you're so focused on the first half of the sentence that you're like, yeah, man. Some people are fucked up out there. There are women who are fucked up, right? It's like this weird way that he trickles in a truth that you agree with something fucked up at the end constantly, right? And I understand that for the grift, there's a lot of people who agree with certain things that he says because there's certain things he intentionally says that are true, that relate to you. That's the way he can feed in terrible things at the same time, right? So I had one friend who I'll just say it. I was going to not say his name. It was Don. Don was Tate pilled, and I had to sit with him in call for an hour, pulling up every receipt and every video of Tate. And I was like, and Dawn after the call was like, oh my God, you're so right. I'm sorry. And I was like, yup. So what I did was that this was years ago. Dawn and I have known each other for years ago. And that's the reason why we didn't do the Avatar The Last Airbender live action reaction together, because I didn't feel comfortable if he had that opinion about Tate. So I was like, you know what, man? I feel too uncomfortable. We need to have this talk. So I sat him down and we had an hour-long discussion. And he was like, okay, but that's what the media says about him. What did he say? And I'm like, no problem. I will grab him saying things word for word. I will grab videos of him saying it and not the media. No problem. And I pulled him every video of Tate saying the thing and not media saying it, right? Because one of the big things that Andrew Tate does is he goes, the media paints this picture of me. The media weaves this web. The media says blah, blah, blah. I didn't say that. What I think is blah, 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 right? And then I was like, but he did say that. Let me grab you a video of him directly saying that. And when I started showing him these videos, because his algorithm was fucked. His algorithm was showing him these based Tate on podcast clips, right? So since his algorithm was shoving him into this whole like funnel, he had no idea about like what Tate was actually saying in full context, or actually saying himself, or even what his website was saying. I showed him for a full hour everything, and he was like, oh my God, this is fucked. This is fucked, right? And I'm like, if you're worth my time, I will take the time to hold your hand and unwind you from the bounds of Tate Pill. But I can also see good people who fall for it, because Don is a good person and he's a great dad, right? He has his own son. And I was like, you got a kid, you got a son, and you're Tate Pilled. We can't have this. I can't have this. So I had to sit down for an hour. But he did get reformed, and we love that for Don because he's an amazing person. But holy shit, I was like, not on my watch. We are respecting women in this family. Yeah. Yep. But again, I'm never gonna blame somebody who's originally Tate Pilled, and just as long as you like have recognition for like, you know, you can always be better people who might have been Tate Pilled before. As long as you realize women have intrinsic value, just as men have intrinsic value. We all do. Who gives a shit about gender? I really don't care, right? I don't care about gender, but I do care about you feeling confident and affirmed in who you are. For example, if you're a cis man, be proud of that. Be proud of being a man. Be proud of who you are, right? If you're a cis woman, be proud of that. If you're someone who has transitioned or whatever, feel confident with who you are, right? I don't give a shit enough to care about what you do with your own time and body. Good for you, boo. All right? Feel confident. I'm never going to be like, how dare you, men? Stupid. Fucking stupid. Women. No, dude. Just like people. It's not a big fucking deal. It's not that hard or complicated. Anyways.
Against Maddie Spidell to discredit her before she's even shared any information. A lot of like cloud chaser and gold digger allegations. I'll say this is also from that Rolling Stone article. They referenced the breakup. The reporter says, you know, Maddie Spidell, who's appeared in a handful of videos.
Tee up. So I heard someone say, these days you get in trouble for being a proud cis man. I'm going to say this very clearly. In my community, that's never going to be a fucking problem. All right? Just like how I believe in all gender affirmation, if you are a proud man, that's fucking awesome for you. And I feel like anyone who deters you from that is fucking cringe, because they're missing the point. They're missing the point of positive gender affirmation, right? You should be proud of who you are. Same thing goes for being a white man. I know that gets shit on a lot, right? Because it's popular to do that. But the realistic factor is be proud of who you are. Just don't offend others by being proud of who you are. That's where the line is drawn. Does that make sense? Don't shit on someone else's experience just because you're proud of yourself. Just be proud of yourself. And that's the distinction. And the problem is that we have blurred lines. So, ta-da! Alicia being the father that stepped up for y'all. I got you.
Those in Mr. Beast's inner circle told me that Spidell had been a positive influence, forcing Donaldson to prioritize work-life balance more. Donaldson did not want to comment on the record about the breakup, citing Spidell's privacy, yet Tyson, Chris Tyson, says Donaldson's singular focus on work was a major contributing factor. I think that's what he's going to be looking for next. Somebody who can match his obsession with business and money and all that kind of stuff. So not a bad word to be said about Maddie Spidell from Jimmy or the people in his inner circle, which is pretty unusual of an ex-girlfriend. I'll show some of the brain dead media coverage headed by Cuckstar and his news organization Drama Alert. So here's just one of his many posts about Maddie.
I got so thrown off. I was like, Cuckstar? Oh, Keemstar. Oh, shit.
The thread of every time Mr. Beast.
Chat, I am not daddy. I'm father. Get it right.
His ex-girlfriend allegedly shaded him, downplaying the clout-chasing claims against her. So let's see this extensive thread. One post of a TikTok where she says she was traumatized at 19. Why do you think that's about Jimmy, Keemstar? Allegedly complaining about Mr. Beast fans. This is her most popular TikTok period with over 6.5 million views and was posted last year. And then Drama Alert goes on to give one more example. And that's the end of the thread. So see, her most popular TikTok seems to be alluding to her relationship with Mr. Beast. And then she has hundreds of more TikToks where she never even tried to recreate the success of that first TikTok, right? Like if I'm her social media manager, I'm telling her, hey, post about Jimmy Moore.
Yeah, if you're gonna like monetize and like, I mean, a great example of this is if we're gonna talk about Father Alicia takes care of her kiddos. I read that, my brain got totally thrown off. Sorry, that threw me off so much. Anyways, the thing about it is that if someone's actually a clout chaser, they're going to keep reiterating the same thing over and over again to garner the viewership. And the fact that, like, she did it the one time to express her feelings about it, even if she did it 2 or 3 times, I would find that totally fine. But it's not her main form of content. And that's something really important. Hi, Kaka. Thanks for the raid. We're talking about a pretty serious topic. So those of you guys who are coming into the raid, we are talking about Mr. Beast allegations for his company, which does involve SA. So if you feel uncomfortable, you can always just dip out. There's no problem with that. Just want to let you guys know that, though, there is like pretty harsh topics. The video is wrapping up in the next like few minutes here, but just want to make sure you guys who are coming in from the raid know what we're talking about.
And she obviously knows that if she did that, she would get more views, and yet she doesn't do it. Hundreds of TikToks, about 30 of them are about Taylor Swift, maybe 3 are about her ex-boyfriend of 2.5 years, which for a Swiftie, it's extremely, extremely low to post only 3 times about your ex-boyfriend who's now incredibly famous. So if she was clout chasing, she's doing a horrible job at it. Now, Drama Alert, on the other hand, has posted more times in the past month about Maddie Spadell than Maddie Spadell has ever posted about Mr. Beast. So I just wanted to address that because I think Mr. Beast knows Maddie has nukes against him and he's trying to discredit her. So let's look at this leaked email. This is from Mr. Beast. It says, yesterday, Dawson saved 100 billion. Whoa, guys, whoa. Guys, I don't know how that got there. That was the wrong email. I don't know how that got there. Yeah, so I've actually heard from pretty credible people that this email was not leaked. So, why lie about it? Devious or deceptive tendencies. Here he is quoted in that Rolling Stone article saying, I'm great at lying. But I wanted to focus in on this part.
I'm sorry. What was the context of that?
Devious or deceptive tendencies. Here he is quoted in that Rolling Stone article.
Okay. I woke up, I would Uber Eats food, and then I would sit at my computer all day just studying shit nonstop with other YouTubers. There was also Settlers of Catan phase that led Donaldson to insist on buying his first 5 copies of the strategy game a month or so. There was always fresh ones lying around. Donaldson relishes the strategy in okay, in deadpanning, I'm great at lying. Okay, he's talking about lying in Settlers of Catan. I feel like I feel like that context is a little bit needed to be said there. Like, I mean, have y'all played Settlers of Catan? It's a board game. Dude, someone asks me, yo, how many sheep you got? I go, 1. Meanwhile, I'm holding 2 sheep, bitch. I ain't telling you, bitch. What, you trying to take my sheep? I ain't trading you my sheep. How many wheat you got? Like, right? Like, it's a part of the strategy of the game when negotiating. It feels weird to take that. But yeah.
Article saying, I'm great at lying. But I wanted to focus in on this part where they say, therefore, along with Jeff Hausenbold, our new president and COO, we will be hiring a new chief human resource officer, chief financial officer.
Yeah, dude's horrible. Let's not take things out of context. That's what I agree with. Listen, he's done some shit things and he says shit things. Just focus on that. Let's not take out of context him playing a fucking board game. Like, that's not the vibe.
Interesting. And general counsel, along with other roles to add capacity and competencies to foster a better internal culture as we continue to grow. So what's interesting about this is that the only person named in an initiative to foster a better internal culture is Jeff Hausenbold. But what's ironic about this is that Jeff Hausenbold has been in the news previously for the internal culture that he helped create as managing partner at the SoftBank Vision Fund. Here's New York Post. Nasty executives shaped macho culture at SoftBank Vision Fund. And here's Bloomberg Business Week. SoftBank Vision Fund employees depict a culture of recklessness. It has also been described as an environment of sycophancy and harassment. So seemingly all the problems.
Oh, we'd love that you took that motherfucker to create your workplace environment. We'd love to see that. God damn, dude.
Mr. Beast's internal culture. But this Bloomberg article also goes to call Jeff out by name. Jeff Hausenbold collects cars, including a blue Ferrari, and claims to own a 20,000 bottle wine cellar, although he doesn't drink himself. Acquaintances describe him as smart and arrogant and almost entirely lacking in self-awareness. He's also gotten away with some questionable behavior. In a discussion about whether to invest in the stationary bike startup Peloton in 2017, according to two people who were in the meeting, Hausenbold opined that its exercise equipment appealed in part to men who masturbated to its workout videos.
Dude, I want to jerk off! Fuck! I want to jerk off! Look at this!
SoftBank denied the claims, but it's an oddly specific thing for two people.
Not you putting a Dante's clip over it! Stop! Not Dante's! That's a good boy! No! No!
To make up a story about masturbating to Peloton workout videos. So yeah, maybe I don't see the vision with hiring this guy as the new president. Also, this is just what I can share right now. I do have more information that I'm trying to get out. Trying to get permission from the victims and everything. Also trying to save some things for when Mr. Beast responds. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching.
God, also, W Raccoon. Damn, this is a long video. But you know what? That's what you're here for when you watch my channel, because I talk a lot. I know we had a lot of tangents today. We talked about a lot of people, a lot of different stories today. I am too lazy to timestamp things in this video now because I talked for way too long. So, hope you enjoyed. If you made it all the way to the end, don't forget to subscribe. If you're already subscribed to the channel because you've clearly made it to the end of this video, thanks. And we'll see you guys in the next one. I'm glad that we're able to talk about really fucking heavy topics, make some jokes, talk about heavy topics, make some jokes, and kind of go back and forth. Because watching these and like getting really depressed and feeling like shit the whole time is not the vibe, man. It's really difficult to sometimes listen to videos like this, which I understand. That's why some people watch reactions, because they want the empathy factor, but they also want to like be able to have a little bit more like life to it as well, so they don't feel as like bogged down by watching this. And I'm happy to be a part of that as well, because I take it seriously, but also am willing to like help lighten things up a bit when things get a bit heavy, so that way we don't, have to carry on the heavy weight of a lot of these topics. I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for hearing me out when it comes to my own personal experiences and the experiences of others. And don't get tape pilled is my final thing. Don't be on your incel shit. Don't get tape pilled. I will be the dad you deserve. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.